Yahoo! Hello, hello. It is I, your favorite leafy boy, Avery, and we are back with another library. We are going to be continuing our journey through the stars with the Penacony mission. And maybe I should have played this part again before jumping into today's stream because we made our decision. Hopefully, it's the last question that we have to choose from. Support Robin on her journey. Yes. But yes, we are back. Sorry for the delay on the stream. I usually start earlier, but yeah, I had some stuff going on, and because of that, I had to start a little late. But now we are ready to continue our journey. But first, before we do that, now that we are done with our little, you know, um, boot camp stream, we do have Herta on a little better, just a little better build with 57 crit rate and 101% crit damage, almost 102. Light cone, same. Traces are maxed out though, because we did a lot of farming this week, and I got all of her talents maxed out. So she is basically my best build character right now. Her planner ornaments need a lot of work. This one is not horrible, but we are still farming for these, and the sphere is just diabolical. It's not good, not good. It's very copium. But we did max her out, and we are on our way of building our characters a little stronger, so we don't have to, you know, repeat what happened with Argent. That was kind of embarrassing, actually. But today we are ready to encounter or accompany Misha on his journey through his memories. And hopefully, we'll learn more about the Trailblaze and Misha, because he is my baby, if you don't know. He is adorable, and I very much love him to bits. But yeah, we are making this decision. We already made this
I
decision
see.
the last time. However, I yeah, we had to end on a cliffhanger with Misha, and this is the part where the game dropped us off with. So yeah, we will play this part again.
I am now aware of everyone's stances.
As we are.
Raising these questions merely serves to illustrate one point. The plight of Penacony cannot be salvaged by the harmony. The true foundation for a sweet dream paradise can only be established through the order where the strong govern the weak.
Yes. Yes. We heard loud and clear from you
I
last week
know
as well.
the suffering of being tormented, the
Mm-mm.
turmoil of losing your way, how sorrow and even despair set in when matters don't work out. All of this causes me unending pain. Because this is not what happiness is at all.
Maybe, maybe not. Who are we to say?
We must teach the weak how to live a happy life. And this life isn't some noble propriety that the upper crust preaches, but in definitive terms, a way of survival that belongs to everyone.
So what is your definition of living a happy life?
Good question. Human consciousness is fundamentally an illusion, a cage known as self-worth. People lured in by this illusion make mistakes, yet still ask that external influences bear the burden. When one mistake after the next permeates the masses, they become impossible to trace. Thus, the amassing of these individual cages culminate to form a prison. A place dictated only by the rule of survival of the fittest. Nature is always accompanied by predation and sacrifice. Its antithesis is known as order.
From what I gather here, his idea of happiness comes from order. Whether it's a good thing or not, order is something that he cherishes very much and finds as the only solution to happiness in life.
That is what I want to do. Unite people's happiness under the banner of order. They won't need to make bitter choices any longer, nor face the weaknesses of humanity. They can cast aside their primal instincts to build a haven for mankind.
But yeah, order is very flawed here. Like, the idea of order to me here is very flawed. You do need order in life. You do need to have some constraint, but more on the, side of precaution, or just to have a way of knowing where are your boundaries, on where you can go and how you can achieve certain things. Because if everyone just did whatever, it would be chaos. And chaos is not as fun as some people might think. At least to me, it's not. It does not seem as fun as some people might find it fun. To a certain extent, yeah, sure. Have some chaos. Have some, fun with it. With life. With your work. Maybe not your work. Because work is usually not as fun. But bring some color into your life. Make some spontaneous decisions that make you feel lighter, make you feel happier. And then happiness will come on its own, but you do have to experience tougher times. You do have to experience some hardship so that you can actually value happiness with it as well. At least that's what I think. But I did talk about this extensively on last week's stream as well, so let's just jump into the next segment, hopefully.
Simply describing thoughts is far too abstract. So allow me to provide a simple example. As you all may know, there are societal norms like weekends and long weekends that exist on some worlds.
Yeah,
During these hard-earned rest days, people are given the chance to extricate themselves from the stresses of everyday life,
that is.
allowing a certain tranquility to return to their souls. And it is only on these days that people do not have to adhere to the law where the strong prey on the weak. They can live out their lives happily during these brief intermissions. It's just a pity that 2 or 3 days are still too fleeting compared to the span of a lifetime. From where I stand, society's ideal system should be 7 rest days. Following Sunday, there should
Yeah.
ensue a second, a third, and indeed an infinite procession of Sundays. This should be the face of the new world. Idyllic, eternal, peaceful days.
But the thing is, if we only operate with Sundays, there will be a need for people who uphold the possibility of those Sundays, which then makes it, not possible for everyone to have a 7-day week full of Sundays. Because someone has to keep up maintaining those 7 Sundays. Because the system is not going to run itself by people just relaxing all day.
And thus, every person can return to their base selves in this utopia. Some gaze in reverence at the stars, pouring their whole beings into calculating the distance between us and the isolated world of Pagana. Meanwhile, some seek refuge in quiet corners, holding one another, unencumbered by the chains of unwelcome obligations. There would be no need to bear the hardships of reality. Only in this way can humanity face the inevitable end with the purest of spirit, living a life of dignity. This is what it is to live in bliss.
But you don't have to have, zero hardships. Like, to live a life of dignity does not mean that your life has no problems. Dignity is not about having a flawless life full of happiness.
Miss Firefly,
It's about staying true to
you
yourself
who are
and
stricken
your
with entropy
ideals.
loss syndrome, you of all would surely understand this.
It sounds like a flawless theory.
Yeah. But the idea behind the theory, when put into reality and how well it holds up, is still up to question. And no matter how you look at it, it's not a theory that's easy to maintain in practice.
But what is the price to attain all this?
Exactly.
The cost is minute, merely a personal and eternal sacrifice. If this paradise is to be maintained for everyone, someone must remain trapped in solitary awakening until the end of the cosmos.
And that's what I was talking about. Not everyone can partake in this utopia, no matter how well you are trying to create. Like, there is always going to be outliers, and that's just unfair. Again, circling back to the whole thing of, yeah, survival of the fittest, but in this analogy, you are the fittest, and you are the one maintaining the system that makes everyone quote unquote happy, and you are suffering alone. I see where he's coming from, I see what his vision is, but it is very flawed and kind of self-centered, in a way that it's very much giving savior complex, and that's not healthy. Very much
Awakening.
not.
Which means that this so-called paradise is still a dream.
Yes.
Stepping into this paradise means forsaking reality, correct?
Yes, it is.
It is not forsaking, but transcending. Flesh, blood, sorrow, weakness. If the physical is the root of spiritual suffering, it is only logical that we defeat it.
But in this supposed bliss, people won't have defeated their demons. The chance to overcome their tribulations would be forever lost to them. In other words, it is an escape.
Sorry, I got lost a little bit. I had to look away for a second. Yes. People won't have defeated it. Yes, that's what I talked about last week as well. It's just running away from your problems. It's an escape, which is fine up to a certain point, but reality will always catch up, one way or another. Sadly.
That's another way of understanding it. But there is no shame in escape.
Yes?
On the contrary, the seeds of escape exist in everyone's hearts.
That's true, yes.
Don't you agree, Miss Firefly? And as for why life slumbers, it is because we are afraid to awaken from our dreams. But this is not in conflict with the grand plan. Only in acknowledging this can we truly understand the frailty of human nature, and from there, show compassion and protection.
I admit that you are a born leader.
That's true.
Your perspective on humanity brims with pessimism. Yet you express compassion for all, even when your heart pities them. But unlike you, I live for the self. From my perspective, individuals making choices for themselves is their birthright.
Yes. Taking away people's choice and the chance to choose a better life for themselves is not great by any means, if you ask me. Especially if you demand them
The want to escape
be
may
happy.
be innate in the weak. But whether they are weak or not, it is not up to another to decide.
Yes.
Perhaps in your mind, you also view me as weak? Because I don't think so.
Since Miss Firefly has said her piece, the Astral Express will also naturally give you our answer.
Yes.
We'll leave it to you. Just as Mr. McHale instructed before. Tell him our choice.
And this is where we left off. With Misha. In the memory bubble from the Watchmaker. Let's continue, shall we?
I'm not entirely sure, but let's give it a try.
We'll do just that,
Wait,
Misha.
you managed to choose the right door on your first try?
Maybe. Seems like it.
Weird. This place is quite different from the hotel.
Is
But
it?
I feel like
Maybe
I've been here before, and even lived here for a while. If I remember correctly, there should be a fireplace down that hallway. Clocky and I used to sit by the fire. listening to the crackling of firewood. And the room on the other side was the toy room. I loved spreading out all the toys from the box on the floor and making up stories for each of them.
Aw, that's adorable.
Hold on. This doesn't make sense. Didn't I grow up in Dreamflux Reef? So, what is this place?
That's why we are here, Misha, to find out.
This could be a case of amnesia. Don't worry, Misha. It's common for everyone to forget certain aspects of the past. Those memories haven't vanished. They're just lying in the depths of your mind. We can surely get them back.
We will help as much as we can.
Since this place seems familiar to you, why don't we explore a few more rooms and see if you can recall anything more?
Yeah, then let's check out the rooms I just mentioned.
Let's go. Where do we go first? Let's go into the hallway with the fireplace.
Mikhail, that's the name. Now we all know him as the Watchmaker.
Yes. Yes, we did find out that Mikhail was the one.
So, who is he talking to? Do you know anything about it, Misha?
I'm sorry, I don't know much about the Watchmaker, but Mikhail...
Anything special about that name?
Mikhail is Grandpa's name.
Aw. So, he's family.
Grandpa? Do you mean you're the Watchmaker's grandson?
But we haven't heard anything about the Watchmaker having descendants. And the name Mikhail is not rare. Perhaps it's merely a coincidence.
Maybe. Let's find out.
Could you tell us more about your grandpa, Mikhail?
Yeah, sure. He was a seafarer who fearlessly ventured into mysterious seas and storms. He was always on the sea and had lots of friends who accompanied him on his travels.
Lots of friends accompanying him on his travels. On the sea.
He didn't want me to call him Grandpa because that would make him sound old. He believed he was still young. The name Mikhail was given to him by his parents, Mihaly and Elise, both renowned seafarers. Every time he came back, he'd share his logbook with me and tell me about his adventures at sea.
Aw,
I want to become a great adventurer, just like him.
that's adorable.
It appears that the seafarer has nothing to do with the Watchmaker. So, perhaps it's just a coincidence?
Maybe.
So, where is your grandpa now?
He went off on a new journey, and it's been quite a while since I last saw him. So, where has Clocky gone? Did he leave to protect Dreamville?
So you need to keep yourself safe too. Okay, Mikhail? I promise you. This is so interesting. I love the way they did this segment. It's very mysterious.
I heard some noises from the room. Origami Bird? That's a friend of mine.
You and Origami Bird are friends?
Seems like it.
Yeah. It's a member of the Compass crew, just like Clocky and Miss Mirror. And there's more than just one Origami Bird. They are a big family with lots of brothers and sisters who look the same. They follow Miss Mirror's orders and handle all sorts of jobs on the ship. They're the best sailors.
Sailors.
Sailors? Can Origami Birds be sailors?
We are back to the sailor thing. Interesting.
Could you tell us more about the compass, Misha?
Let's hear about
the
it.
Compass is a ship bound for the New World. Clocky and his partners travel through layers of fog to the depths of the sea, where whenever there is danger, Clocky will use a compass and guide the ship in the right direction.
That's a great story. But in the Penacony cartoon, Clocky and his partners have always lived in Dreamville and never ventured out, right?
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Huh? Oh, that does seem to be the case. Weird. I clearly remember Clocky arrived in the New World in the end.
Perhaps Clocky has a hidden past.
Maybe. And if we think about it as Clocky being blah, 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 an analogy for the Watchmaker, he might not have been, you know, native to Penacony. And I think we did hear about that from Gallagher before. Let's see and find out.
I think I hear the sound of water.
You once mentioned there's a magnificent fountain up ahead.
This is an origami bird I made for you. It will protect you from harm. Aw, whoever's memories we are seeing here is clearly, like, they clearly care a lot about Mikhail. Protecting Dreamville, just like they did with Clock. Interesting. Next room. Up the
Look, there
stairs.
it is.
It looks very beautiful.
The water resembles a precious jewel, embedded in the dreams of all seafarers. Every time I gaze at the shimmering lights beneath the waves, it feels as though I'm back in this place, standing by your side.
Have you recalled anything, Misha?
Yeah, I saw these sentences in Grandpa's logbook. He used to say that despite the perils of the sea, whenever he stood on the deck in the afternoon, overlooking the sparkling waves, he would think of this fountain in front of his house.
Memories.
He often said that those moments felt like returning to his family's side, and the difficulties at sea didn't seem quite as challenging.
You know, I quite understand such sentiments.
You're talking like an elder.
I'm not an elder. I was just being a bit sentimental.
Perhaps every adventurer far from home carries a fountain within their soul.
Maybe.
Even though the other side of the sea remains shrouded in the unknown, the fountain in front of his house serves as a compass, leading him back to his cherished ones.
Maybe. I mean, that's a great way of looking at it. It's probably what a lot of people who are far away from home, they have their, like, going through, they have, like, something that reminds them of home. In this case, it's a fountain.
Yeah, while Grandpa was at home, we would stand by the fountain and place the compass, a toy boat that I made, into the pool.
So compass is a toy boat. And that's from, like, you just talked about how the compass had its crew by, like, Clocky and his friends were the crew of the compass. So the Clocky and Clocky and friends. I have no idea why sentences are coming so hard for me right now. But yeah, it's interesting that the compass comes from Misha. And Bucky and friends are essential, basically, history for Penacony. I'm seeing the vision.
Back then, I would ask him when I could go on adventures like him. And
Mm-mm.
he would always laugh and say I was still too young.
Maybe so. Maybe so. But yeah, sometimes you just have to start.
It seems this Mikhail is truly a seafarer and has nothing to do with the Watchmaker.
Are you sure about that? Like, March, are you actually listening to what Misha is saying here?
Yeah. Based on Misha's recollections, the scenes in the dream bubble appear to be his childhood memories.
Yeah, and the dream bubble is connected to the Watchmaker, so do what you wish with that connection if you can
But
see
this
it.
raises more questions. According to Misha, he was clearly born on an oceanic planet and led an ordinary life, with no connection to Penacony at all.
I mean, yeah,
Could this be some sort of metaphor? Perhaps the sea refers to the memory zone.
maybe. I mean, that's also a possibility to equate C with the memory zone.
I'm sorry. I don't know, but my memories keep pouring out uncontrollably, like water flowing from a fountain. Perhaps I'll remember more things if we go further.
Perhaps. And we shall help you and accompany you on this journey. Let's see where we go from here.
I wish to share your burden.
Aw,
We're going to the opposite side, right?
No, we should turn left here.
left. Okay.
Huh? Something feels different about this place.
This is it. Up ahead is Grandpa's study. It was in that room that I saw him the last time.
We've overcome so many challenges.
The atmosphere in
I
this
think
room
that was
feels
Clocky.
totally different.
Misha, you finally come.
Aw, Clocky.
Clocky, you're here! Huh. Yeah. This is the room where we first met each other.
Are those books on the bookshelf logbooks left behind by that seafarer?
Maybe. Can we check it out?
Yeah. Whenever he came back, he placed a logbook on the bookshelf in his room. They
Mhm.
contain records of his expeditions to every corner of the world. He described our world as a fountain. At some point, the sea started to gradually swallow up the land where people lived. To ensure that everyone had land to settle on, he had to continue exploring the sea and search for the source of the rising seawater.
Mhm.
On that day, he called me to his study, telling me that he was embarking on another journey. However, I could sense the gravity in his expression. It was the same look I had seen on my father's face before his final voyage.
So they were separated. That was his last memory of his grandfather. That is quite sad.
I asked him if I could go with him, but he said that my adventure lay elsewhere and told me to stay home
Mm-mm.
and patiently await a certain sound at the door.
A certain sound.
What sound?
He told me about a vast ocean in the sky. An ocean of stars.
An ocean of
He
stars.
spoke of a train that transports children with a desire to venture far away, traversing the sea of stars without ever stopping.
The Astral Express.
He said that he knew the crew on the train, and that he had asked them to take me along. He said the journey I had always dreamed of would start there.
A train? Could it be?
Very much likely. Like, that is definitely talking about the Astral Express.
It's the Astral Express. I remember now. Grandpa's friends are a group of nameless who came to this world to resolve a disaster caused by a star.
Not necessarily a star, I think it was a stellaron.
Then, he gave his pocket watch to me. It was his cherished treasure, appearing in every one of his adventure tales. He explained that difficult times were ahead, but assured me that the watch would guide me.
That's so cute.
He said, as long as I kept moving forward, I'd eventually reach my desired destination. And then, it was as if I heard the distant sound of a train whistle, echoing throughout the room.
Exactly, Misha! And then we followed that whistle, didn't we?
So Clocky was with him by that time.
Yeah. I think I can still find the way we took back then.
Aww. That is... Wait. We are seeing something here. Captain Misha. We are now heading in the correct direction. Let's continue sailing. We've overcome so many challenges. But in the end, we've arrived at the new world. We've lost our way so many times. Not even the sea can stop us. We finally come out of the fog. Across the oceans is our destination. So Misha was the captain then. I think I know where this is going.
This is the dream jigsaw, right? So we're supposed
yes.
to find the exit. But where can we find the last piece?
Do you remember? You said you obtained a mysterious shard when you stumbled into this place.
Yes.
Hey, the shape seems to match. So this shard is also connected to Misha?
Looks like it.
Looks like we're just one step from revealing the truth. Let's get to the other side and investigate.
So this one comes here, I think. No? There. We had to flip it a little bit, and then this way. Go to the other end of the room. Let's go.
This is it. This is my room of clocks.
His room of clocks. I'm pretty sure that you know what that means.
While I spent my time waiting for Grandpa to return from his voyage, Walter gave me this workshop, and it became my secret base. Here, I learned how to repair clockwork and gears, out of my fondness of precision mechanics. In my dreams, I was the captain of the compass, embarking on adventures with my companions, Clocky and Miss Mirror, in search of the new world.
And in reality?
I was born and raised here.
So, this building in the dream bubble is your childhood home?
Yes, but not exactly. To be more precise, this dream bubble itself is my home.
Looks like you've remembered everything now.
I think, like, it's safe to say, Misha is, in a certain sense, Mikhail. But not the real Mikhail. Just like Gallagher is not anyone from the real world, Misha is also a dream version of somebody. Existing from memories.
Wait. Why does it feel like everyone else knows something I don't?
Keep up with the pace, March. You're the only one still in the dark.
March, do you remember when he mentioned a clocky that only he could see?
Yeah, the little guy here, right? But we all saw him in Dreamflux Reef, right? And Mr. Yang even greeted him.
Yes, that is true.
Looks like everyone on the Astral Express has a childlike spirit.
The answer lies in the Astral Express. His experience shows that neither Firefly nor Acheron can see this clocky.
Yes, that is true.
And when we were in Dreamflux Reef, you may have noticed that for some reason, nobody outside of the crew had ever talked with Clocky.
Yes.
A mimetic life that can only be seen by a select few. It's just like a hidden message left by someone for the nameless.
Or the nameless, specifically.
But Misha can see Clocky too, right? They even grew up together. But Misha hasn't started the way of the Trailblaze yet.
And he will probably never start it. Sadly.
That's the key to the mystery, March. Now, take a moment to recall. Have you ever seen anyone outside of the crew interact with Misha?
Wait. No way!
Yes, way.
That's the answer, March 7th. This dream bubble is the place where I was born. And I'm a dweller in this dream. Just like a memory zone meme. I should have stayed here and waited for you. But when reality and memories merged, I unconsciously pushed open that door and left the bubble with Clocky.
So it's not that the Watchmaker's dream bubble is empty, but rather the stuff inside ran away?
You can say that as well, yes.
And the whistle you heard, was the sound of the express arriving at Penacony?
That's one way to see it, but I believe there's a longer story behind all this. It's best for Misha himself to explain all the details.
Yeah, because we got the big picture, but we don't know the full story yet.
How about we start with your name? Now, should we call you Misha, or...?
Thank you all for helping me rediscover my true self. Now, please allow me to reintroduce myself. I was born on Lushaka, in the Presmere system. Adopted by seafarers Mikhail and Char. They gave me a treasure. A name that carried their hopes. Mikhail Char Legwork. Or simply, Misha.
Misha, my boy.
If you prefer, you can call me by a more familiar name. The Watchmaker.
So, you're the Watchmaker himself?
Well, a memory of him.
Unfortunately, that legendary figure is no more. I am only a reflection of his life.
My heart.
As for the child who has been with you, he's the innocent protagonist of Misha's childhood dream. A friend of Clonky, a young apprentice, and a future mechanic on the Express. And this also marks the beginning of his journey, devoted to the Trailblaze.
At the end of the journey, I left this little flame, which I so cherished, in my deepest dreams, hoping to pass it on to the nameless of future generations. However, he somehow left the dream bubble and forgot all about his task. I apologize for all the confusion this caused.
Because he was born with a desire to trailblaze, wasn't he?
Of course. Of course he was. He is, in a sense, Mikhail. So, his decisions totally make sense.
I don't think Misha has forgotten his role as a guide. He remembered it. And that's why he mistakenly appeared as a hotel doorman in his dream from the very beginning.
Exactly. Yes. 'Cause when we entered the dream, we saw Misha. And he helped us. He guided us. So he did retain his sense of duty, maybe you can call it. But not in the way that it was intended to.
The one who
happen.
brought our unconscious friend here must have been Misha. If that's the case, we encountered the Watchmaker's legacy from the beginning, didn't we?
We have, yes.
Well, I have a sarcastic friend who says I always take big detours and end up back where I started. Perhaps that's what every nameless has to go through.
Perhaps.
But in the end, you found me. I'm sure you're all wondering what my legacy is. I believe my hound has mentioned the Stellaron and my wealth.
Yes.
If I may apologize, the Stellaron part is real. As for my wealth, however, it's nothing more than a baseless rumor. I left my homeland as a child and embarked on the journey of Trailblaze. I traveled to various planets until finally reaching Asdana, where my friends and I built the original Penacony and fought for its future ever since. I've been moving forward all my life, doing what I could to overcome the obstacles in my path. But ultimately, my journey reached its end, and I left behind no possessions worth entrusting.
Memories do count as well. If you ask me, because at the end of the day, the only thing that stays with us are not our possessions, but the journey that we embarked on during our life. And the memories we made along the way,
So, if you ask what's left within this worn-out train engine that can be called a legacy, I suppose it's the things that are still burning in the engine's furnace. Now that you're well aware of the current situation of Penacony, I certainly hope that you'll help me get this world back on track. But I'll leave that decision to you. For the path of Trailblaze is never paved by others. All I have for you is a story and two gifts. I want to give you my pocket watch. It has accompanied me throughout my long journey, guiding that naive child forward, and has been blessed with the presence of so many great people up to this day.
So he did have something at the end.
And my hat, too. The one who navigated for me placed it on my head and planted a fanciful thought in my mind. The Trailblazing expedition will never end.
Is this how Harmony Trailblazer gets its powers?
Now, it's time for you to make your choice. Once you've made up your mind, open that door and enter the long dream of an old man. I'll be waiting for you at the end of this corridor of time.
Thank you, Misha. But wow, yes. So it was like my speculation was correct. Misha is the Watchmaker. Maybe I have been spoiled in a theory video before, and that's probably a little, you know, spoiler for me. And it guided me to the right conclusions. But yeah, I really like the way they unveiled this. Like, this whole segment with Misha and his lost memories that are coming back to him gradually. It's very heartwarming. And it's very nicely done, in my opinion. Like, I very much enjoyed it.
All right, everyone. Let's make a decision.
Let us make a decision here.
Although I don't think anyone will have any objections.
I'll choose the Trailblaze. Like, will we see the legacy? I think choosing the Trailblaze and witnessing the legacy is going to be the same thing. But I do want to see his path on the Trailblaze. You know, looking back on something as precious as memories of your predecessors it's very interesting to see. So I want to witness the legacy. Will be.
Of course. We've come this far. Surely there's no other option than moving forward.
Yeah.
In that case, it's unanimous. Then let's proceed together to the end of this dream and tell Mikhail our decision.
Let us proceed. I really like the theming. Like, this aesthetic is very, very nicely thought out. I'm just so happy that Misha had such a big part in the story. I know a lot of people don't like him because he is a 4-star character, and let's face it, 4-star characters in Honkai Star Rail are not very great. But as a character, I really love Misha, and I'm so happy that he had such an impact on this story. Like, at least for me, he is very impactful as a character. Let's witness his journey.
Mikhail, where are you going?
Someone has to step up and save Lushaka. So why can't it be me, Misha?
Please don't go. And if you must, please take me with you. Don't leave me alone.
Even without me, you know how to proceed forward, brave Captain Misha. The compass is waiting for you. Haven't you always wanted to be a better adventurer than me?
Now go, board that train and start your journey.
Oh, my heart. I'm not sure if I can
Where are
take
you
this.
going, Mikhail?
I'm going to clean the floor in the parlor car. I've promised the conductor.
Wait, first tell me, did you fix this watch?
Yeah?
I know what it looked like before. Its chain was broken, the back case torn, and the marks on the dial all worn out. How did you manage to fix it?
Well, it's hard to explain, but I knew it could be fixed. It's the hands, Mr. Amundsen. Its hands were intact and pointing in the right direction, so I knew there would be a way to fix the rest.
I see. You'll work with me from now on. Haven't you always wanted to tinker with this train?
Aww.
You're its mechanic now. As for the conductor, I'll do the talking.
He's got a mentor.
But I only know how to fix watches.
You can learn the rest.
Don't worry. You've got what it takes. I'll teach you what you need to know.
Where are you going, legwork? It's time to head to our next stop.
I'm staying in Astana with Rosalina and Tiernan.
He's staying.
I see. This place reminds you of home.
The people of Astana have only achieved a tiny victory, and still have a long way to go towards true freedom. Hanunu needs us. Don't worry, not all journeys lead to the stars. Even if I leave the Express, our path of Trailblaze will continue.
Will do.
Yeah. I knew you wouldn't stay on the Express forever. Leave in peace, my friend. And, take this with you.
This is Mr. Amundsen's hat. But why?
When he departed, he said he would leave it to his best student. Well, I suppose the time has come.
Oh, my heart. This is so beautiful.
Farewell, legwork. Take care of Tiernan and Rosalina. And don't forget to write to us.
Where are you going, Watchmaker?
Micah, we met him at Dreamflux Re. Is that the same Micah?
Don't worry, Micah. Just going on a little trip. Someone has to be at the forefront of the interstellar frontier, and I'm the only former nameless in Penacony. So why can't it be me?
Because you're all we have! Have you forgotten about Tiernan? The cosmos is way more dangerous now. What will happen to Penacony if we lose you too?
But what will happen to Penacony if we don't find a way out? Ah, Tiernan. How could I ever forget him? I've spent countless sleepless nights asking myself why I didn't go with him back then. We Nameless won't stop. Don't worry, Micah. It's just a matter of getting back to my old profession. Just wait for me to come back. But if, and it's a big if I don't come back in one piece, then you'll become the next Watchmaker.
So Micah was supposed to take over being the Watchmaker.
Where are you going, old man?
Gallagher.
Oh, you're here.
Answer my question. What are you up to?
Relax, Gallagher. I just came up with a great idea. Wanna hear it?
Oh, come on. Aren't all your ideas just ways to get yourself killed? I may be blunt here, but you're the last remaining hero in Penacony.
It's also like, it's not just the, you know, memories of Mikhail and the history of the Astral Express, but also the history of Penacony as well. It's a little bittersweet to arrive at a conclusion like this. Or not conclusion, but the way it's unfolding. And like, it's bittersweet is, I think, a good way to put it. At least for me, it is, because we learn more about the Watchmaker, someone who was walking the path of Trailblaze before us. And also the world of Penacony as we know it right now was inspired and affected by him as well.
If you die too, the secret of the Stellaron will go to the grave with you.
Yes, I'm afraid there's no way out in Penacony, so I'll have to consider alternatives beyond Asdana. We'll organize a festival using the Watchmaker's legacy as a facade, and send invitations to the entire cosmos to gather people here.
So, Charmony Festival, it was an SOS signal, like emergency. Throughout the whole cosmos, to the Nameless, to the IPC, to everyone and anyone that could help with the crisis that Penacony was going through.
So, a desperate struggle against the family?
Desperate? Don't we have you here, my friend? This task is challenging, but what hasn't been challenging for us along the way? Well, whatever you do, remember, make sure to send an invitation to the Astral Express.
Misha! Where are you going?
Clocky.
Oh, it's you, Clocky. Take me to Dreamflux Reef.
Oh.
Last night, I had a long dream about the day we met. I want to write down that dream.
Write it down? Why?
Oh, so I won't forget it. Do you remember how you got your name, Clocky?
Of course! You told me that when you were a kid, you lived in a room full of clocks. Those wall clocks and pocket watches grew up with you and were your best friends.
Oh, no.
Yes, but what I didn't mention was there's a funny misunderstanding behind it. I was a kid, and there was always a special pocket watch in my memories. It was with my grandpa, guiding him on his sea voyages and leading the way in his every adventure story. I wanted to have a pocket watch like that too. And that's when you appeared in my dreams.
That's how Clocky was born.
Yeah. Every night, we boarded the compass and set sail together.
But you know what? It wasn't until the day my grandpa gave it to me that I realized it wasn't a pocket watch at all.
Oh?
It was a compass. So, your name should have been Compassy.
That's cute. That's very...
And the Watchmaker is just a nameless.
Not just a nameless. Your legacy that you built in Penacony for the better of all its people. That should be something to celebrate. It's not just the nameless word. It's your work. It's your whole legacy, as you can say. Like the Watchmaker's legacy is the whole of Penacony. Even though it's very very much on the brink of, catastrophe right now, but Penacony is the Watchmaker's legacy.
We've arrived at Dreamflux Reef. So, where to next?
You know, Clocky, I don't think I'll be going anywhere else.
Misha, thank you for everything that you have done for Penacony and for the Astral Express. It is the Grand Theater, the brightest part of Penacony, and it is Dreamflux Reef, where Misha found a place where he can.
I've traveled far enough, and it's time for a little break.
Oh. So, we'll set out again. When you're rested?
No, I'll stay here. And then, this is where it ends.
This is... where it ends? What do you mean, Misha? You told me that the trailblazing expedition would never end.
Yeah, that's what I said. So now, it's up to you to decide your next destination.
My next destination? What's that supposed to be? I've been following you. Misha? You're acting weird today. If you're feeling down, we can just do what we usually do. With the clockwork.
No, I'm not feeling down. As for clockwork, yeah, it resolves all problems in this dream. So, do you know what clockwork actually is?
I'm not quite sure.
Well, everyone gets lost at times. They may hesitate and doubt which way to go. That happens in this dreamscape and beyond. But don't worry. Everyone goes through moments of uncertainty and hesitation. Eventually, they gather the courage to make bold decisions. Whether it's calming, happy, angry, or sad, all they need is a little nudge to take that step toward where they truly belong. I'm leaving that little nudge with you, and I hope you'll share it with others. Such is the essence of clockwork, the will of the Trailblaze. Clocky's hands spin around non-stop, indicating confusion, frustration, and weakness. But ultimately, people still need to move forward.
Just like your hands, always pointing ahead. This is where my journey ends. From now on, it is your path to walk.
Trailblazing means taking paths your predecessors forswore, and venturing even further. The Penacony and Mikhail's dreams does not belong to Order.
My heart. Oh my gosh. That was beautiful. That was so beautifully done. I'm speechless here. I really enjoyed that. That was that was that was really something. And that is exactly what I was talking about. The freedom to choose where you are going and how you are going to get there is something that everyone should have the chance to do. And by taking it from them, you are doing them a disservice, no matter how well meaning you are. And that is our decision Sunday. That is why we are here in front of you.
I can't believe that Eon would cast a glance at Penacony at a time like this. Is it because of the resonance from the legacy of the Trailblaze? Or perhaps the bond between you is so strong that it even impresses an Eon?
Well, there might be another possibility. Perhaps they want to witness, on behalf of the fallen Eons, who will hold the future of Penacony.
Actively and the Aeons of Trailblaze and Order. I think Enna is the Order.
If that's the case, on behalf of the Dream Master of Penacony and the 107,336 members of the Oak family, I'm extending a formal invitation to all of you. I'm cordially inviting you all to the Penacony Grand Theater to participate in the upcoming Charmony Festival. And, of course, you won't be in the audience, but on center stage. Since the future of the Stellaron, Penacony, and even the entire cosmos is at stake, let's draw a conclusion there, in all fairness. If you truly believe in Akavili's path, then show me their courage and determination.
And we are ready to do just that. Tread on a brand new path. Harmony. Technically, Harmony Trailblazer has been unlocked for us. But this is the first time we got an Eidolon for him. After using skill for the first time, immediately recovers 1 skill point. Which is actually very, very good for us. Like, that's a really good Eidolon.
Unknown to each other,
That
yet
makes...
united in purpose. We make the same choices.
I forgot they start talking when you activate Eidolons, but that's a really nice thing. that makes Trailblazer SP neutral, which is really good during combat, especially with the team I was using him with, and more so probably on other teams as well, with Firefly and Boothill, where they use a lot of skills. But yeah. I'm not sure if I want to continue here. I do want to, but I think it's going to be very long. Yes? Yes. Okay, so we just finished Then Wake to Weep and started out on the next part, next mission. Everything that rises must convert. And it seems to be a very long mission. So, in light of that, I think I'm going to end it for today. But yeah, I am very happy with how the story is going, with what they did with Penacony. The thing is about like the story of Honkai Star Rail. A lot of people think it's like a hit or miss situation. Some people think it's good, some people think it's just okay, or even bad. I am really enjoying it so far. I really like the Cienjo's story from what we experienced so far. I know there's Trailblaze continuances going on, and I do need to catch up on those as well. But yeah, what we experienced with Eurillo 6 as well, I think Penacony is a really, really big step up from those. And I really enjoy what they did with this story. What we have learned today, both about Penacony and about the Trailblaze. And Misha as well. Like, some people might think that, you know, you good? I think they are good. But some people might think that it's a wasted potential on a 4-star character. I don't see it that way. I understand that, like, story prevalent characters being good playable characters is a really, like, important thing to some people. I think a well-written character and a playing character, like a well-functioning character, are not necessarily two very, like, intertwined things. I did enjoy, like, I find Misha's design very lovable already, and learning that he is basically the reason why Penacony even exists today, and the way he got to where he is right now is just very beautiful. I really enjoyed the way they did this. And I'm very happy with how the story is going so far. And if I'm correct here, we are very close to the finale. And our showdown with the Oak family and Sunday. It seems to be a really big quest that's coming up. So I think we are going to start probably on regular time next week, or maybe a little earlier so that we can go. No, wait. Let me check something. I need to check something here. Just a second. I will be right back. I'm back, and I am the bearer of bad news, or kind of sad news. We are going to be we are going to be starting later than usual. We are going to start an hour later because my human has IRL obligations that he has to tend to. Um, but I will be trying to go as long as I can, and not exactly get to the end of the story, but quite far along the way. If not, it might be a two-parter with the finally or final showdown happening 2 weeks later, like the week after next week. We'll see about that. I I'm not trying to like promise or guarantee anything here. But yeah, I am so happy with the way things are going here with the game, with everything, with the story, and we'll be back next week where we speak with our companions as the mission suggests and see how things work out at the Grand League. But for now, if my great game wants to work well with me together, I will thank you for your attention. And this little spell from the Herta, I will ask you to please leave a like if you enjoyed today's stream, and consider subscribing if you want to stay updated with the channel. And once again, thank you for your attention. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you had a pleasant time. Avery, out. Bye-bye.